Previously on The K-Source.
Why did it take so long for them to write the Gospels practically a generation after the time of Jesus? The answer to this question will be on a future lesson. A future lesson. The word gospel comes from a Greek word evangelion. Literally means good announcement. When there was victory in battle, a messenger would be sent back to the hometown and proclaim an evangelion.
All praise be to God! All praise be to God!
That messenger would be an evangelist, the one who spreads the good news. When it comes to the canonical Gospels, though, we're talking about capital E evangelists: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The purpose of the Gospels is to spread the good news. It's to proclaim the good news. Why use a word associated with war when it comes to the story of Jesus? The Jews were constantly being oppressed by foreign government. And the crucifixion of Jesus was no different. The foreign government won. The foreign government oppressed the people. Death won. Sin won. The resurrection is turning that frown upside down. Resurrection shows us that life, not death, prevails. That grace, not sin, prevails. It demonstrates to us that there is life after death. There is no evidence of life after death prior to the resurrection of Christ. It's a good announcement. Victory over death. And that gives us a whole new outlook on living. What you also need to know about the Gospels is that they weren't meant to be read as historical biographies on Jesus.
What?
They were, if anything, testimonies of faith. The four canonical Gospels were the most popular Gospels at the time, frequently recited at liturgies. They are in line with our faith. That is not the same as saying they are historical. Everything in the Bible is true, and some of it literally happened. By the way, there is a misconception that says that the apostles were the ones who wrote the Gospels. The Gospels were written almost a generation after the time of Christ. That's not to say, though, that the people writing the Gospels weren't influenced by the oral tradition of the apostles. We don't know who the evangelists are. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are just names we use to designate the Gospels. Why did it take them a generation to write the Gospels? What we see in Paul's epistles in the 50s is that there was a belief that the end of the world was imminent. Would you do your homework if you knew the world was coming to an end? The apostles believed that Jesus was going to return. And the Greek term for this is called the parousia. It literally translates to triumphal return. And historically, that term parousia was used in referring to troops coming back from battle. So you have the war imagery again. It is the triumphal return of Christ. So for Paul and the apostles, the immediate concern was not so much evangelizing or telling the story of Jesus. It was getting people to live as Christians, not about who Jesus is. Because it was about getting the converts so that they are prepared when Jesus returns during the parousia. Why did they start writing them when they did? Mark writes his gospel in the late 60s, approximately 70 AD. What else is happening in the late 60s? Christian persecutions, zealot revolt, Jerusalem destruction, and the start of the diaspora. The world is in turmoil and everybody is dying. And when the Christians were being killed, there was a legitimate concern that the story of Christ was going to die with them. So now there became an urgency to write the scriptures down.